All right. I think most people are back on their seat. So we're gonna start our second keynote from Chris Tang at UCLA. Chris, you may start now.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Well, first of all, I want to wish Suresh Sethi happy birthday. It is an amazing journey and have never stopped learning from you. And I also want to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to speak this morning. And my God, after David's talk, Sridhar's talk, and then this morning, in terms of Annabella and George's talk, how can I top that? So and also on top of Kalian's speech last night. So I will give it a shot. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the screen with you. So let me see how to do that because that I don't know how to use Teams, so I'm going to try. All right. Let me see.
Yes, we have Steve.
Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Okay, good. So first of all, I'm going to talk about just 20 minutes, would not be long. So talk about the journey that I learned from my own research about Suresh, about his journey. It is amazing. I found it really enlightening. All right. So bear with me. All right. So Suresh started in his PhD thesis at Carnegie Mellon, so that's why I saw his post when he went back to celebrate the PhD program, the success of CMU for decades. So his thesis is under Jerry Thompson about optimal control theory. That is his claim to fame. So I will share with you a little bit what I learned about his work by after you invited me to give this talk. So I learned something about Suresh's work. So he has done a lot of work, which we know, cover many top areas. So starting from control theory, but he applied control theory to different applications, in particular in advertising. So, and also he has done scheduling, manufacturing, flexibility, inventory theory, because using the optimal control. And also that he switched into supply chain management and then more recently, channel management. Impact, amazing. He has published tons of work and Google citation over 33,000. And also he has many students and co-authors. All right. So let me tell you about what I learned about his earlier work. All right. So his thesis in 1973, published in OR, is trying to apply the optimal control theory to the Vidale-Wolfe model. And so basically, he tried to optimize in terms of the advertising efforts. Now, so for the Vidal-Wolfe model, they come up with a linear differential equations. So you look at equations, it says that the market share, the momentum, the dx/dt is based on how much you exert the advertising effort, the U of t. But then you only target for those that have not yet captured the market share, the remaining market share. So that means you're advertising to the one that who has not yet adopted the product, minus in terms of the decaying effect of those already market share that you capture, you may losing to your competitors. So that is the Vidal-Wolfe method. Then they try to actually looking at this system dynamics over time. Now, Suresh, based on his training in mathematics and control theory, then he actually incorporated the optimal control theory to solve this. Basically, is a optimal control problems, which is to find out the optimal advertising efforts U of t over an infinite horizon with discounting with the E minus IT. So you look at the function in between is basically is try to look at the revenue n times xt that you accumulate based on the market share minus the costs of the advertising. Now, here the xt is related to U of t based on the Vidal-Wolfe method. So in his thesis, he solved the optimal advertising efforts over time. All right, so it's a linear control. So that was very clean. Then what did he do? Well, then he will actually extend further because this model is deterministic. Then he actually, optimal control can have another capability, which is a stochastic element. Now, in optimal control theory, if you do the stochastic or uncertainty, things get ugly. But then we know that in optimal control theory, you can actually leverage the Brownian motion. Then you can still get tractable solution. So Suresh know about that, and that's what he did 10 years later. 10 years later, in 1983, which is the box, he actually extended the Vidal-Wolfe model. So it actually introducing two elements highlighted in red. So the first one is instead of the Vidal-Wolfe model, he actually more generalized it, consider a square root of 1 minus xt, which is maybe a concave effect in terms of how the outreach to the effect reaching out to the remaining market share. Then he says an element which is the sigma t, which is a called volatility function, is similar to the square root form, because then in that case it's a similar form. Then in that case, when he does the optimization, optimal control is more easily tractable. Then z of t is a standard boundary motion. Then in 1983, he actually solved this problem as well. But then that's not it. Until recently, he actually extended to a more general model, so which is the one in green, was published in OR. So you look at the function, it's actually he allows for the power function. Before, the differential equations is only linear on the advertising efforts. Then in the green function, he allowed the Cobb-Douglas, which allowed the power function as well. So as long as the power function is actually similar to the other functions, which is the sigma xt, which is also similar to the power function based on the square root. So therefore, he can still generalize this model as well. So that is called the general Sethi model. So this is really a journey over from 1973 until 2024, which is really 50 years in making. This is amazing, but it's a very effective analysis. Now, then I use AI to summarize, to compare all these three models. So basically, this slide try to compare the three different models. The Vidal-Wolfe model is deterministic, is linear based on the U of t, but then he allowed for the square root of the square root 1 minus xt, and then the generalized Sethi model is a Cobb-Douglas function. But then he also introduced the stochastic, the Brownian motion element, and also they can make it tractable. So this is a very clean solutions, and Suresh is a master in doing that. Now, given he's in UT Dallas, UT Dallas also besides Sethi model, there is a Frank Bass model. Now the Frank Bass model is slightly different. It's actually is the in terms of the evolution of the market share. If you look at the green box, so I'm wondering whether the Sethi model can also incorporate the Frank Bass model. Now this one's different because that the advertising model is usually is a function, the dxdt is a function of u of t with the advertising effort times a simple function of the 1 minus xt. But here, the Frank Bass model try to capture the S-curve. That's why then you have the xt times the 1 minus xt. But then the question is that this, if we adopt the Frank Bass model along with the advertising model, with the optimal control theory, control can still work. So I don't know. So that is something maybe for Suresh or maybe his student to consider. Just a thought. All right. So after he spent 50 years working on this class model, and then it's also amazing, he has worked on flexibility, he worked in inventory control, and then more recently onto channel management. So this is a recent work he's looking at in terms of channels. So let me explain how it works. So basically, the basic model is that the model number one. The model number one is a platform like Amazon is buying the product from the supplier, and then Amazon will sell as is the product like books. Amazon buy from the publisher, and then Amazon sell the books. So the model number one is the Amazon, the original model is trying to buy the products from the supplier and then sell it as a retailer to the consumers by setting the price, P of R, as a retailer and also the quantity. But then we know the supplier, like the publisher or the bookseller, they also can have two options. They can adopt is a sell through the Amazon model, which is the commission. So it's a third party seller. So in the second model, is a supplier take a more active role. So that means that they pay Amazon the commission, and then they also sell through the Amazon channel by setting the price P of S, which is selected by the seller, and then also the quantity. The third one is the supplier sells directly as their own online channel. So that would be like some book publishers or some seller, they sell direct. So in that case, they will also select the retail price, but without going through the Amazon channel. Then in the paper, he has two papers to look at the suppliers and also the platform dynamics. So in that case, he tried to compare the model 1+2. That means that the platform compete with the supplier. So that is some symbiotic relationship because Amazon need the supplier to sell the products, but then also compete with the supplier selling as a third-party channel seller. The other model is 1+3. That means that there are two channels. So the first channel is Amazon is a seller. The third channel is a supplier as a seller. Then also they compete. Now, then down below is the standard competition model is the market price is the linear function of the quantity they sell. Now, the only interesting part is that there is an X. The X is private information. In here, they assume that the platform has some information about the market conditions. X. Then the question is that now the platform has a private information X. Then the question, should they share the information with the supplier? Knowing that the supplier has the two options, either they sell direct channel is model 3, or they sell as a third-party seller is model 2. So that is the crux of the investigation in two of his papers. So I've summarized what they find. All right. So these two papers is conducted with his friends in Hong Kong at the Polytechnic University. The Tang is not this Tang, it's another Tang. It's one of the graduates from the Poly University that work with Yulan Wang. All right. So there are two papers, one in the transportation research, the other one is in POM. So they try to compare the two different models. One of them, the platform like Amazon has two revenues. One, they collect the revenue from the commission because the supplier sell as a third-party seller. And also second revenue stream is a sell direct. So in that case, the Amazon buy from the supplier and sell. Now the second model, 1+3, the platform has only one channel revenue. Is by buying the product from the supplier and sell, right? Then the question is that which one would be more profitable, and also under what condition the platform will share the private information with the suppliers. Then of course it depends. So in here they look at the sequential model, the sequential moves. That means that depending who set the price first or who set the sales quantity first, that would dictate whether the result, whether the platforms share the information or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share you with the result. All right, so I've summarized the result down below. Let me start with the easy one first, the bottom one. Here is regardless who set the decision, make the decision first, the supply will always sell through the channel. If they need to entry cost for them to sell direct is too expensive, and then they will do it otherwise. So this is quite intuitive. It's based on the entry cost. If the entry cost is too high by selling direct, they must leverage the Amazon channel to sell through by paying a commission. That's what we see. That's commonly seen. Now, then the first result is more interesting in the following sense. Because the platform has a private information, Then whether they will share the information or not with the suppliers would depends on who said the information first. Now, this one is actually is quite consistent with many game theoretical model, meaning that it depends on who make the decision first, because the one who make the decision can anticipate what the follower would do. So in this particular case, if the platform is the first mover, the platform can anticipate what the supply would do in terms of the wholesale price, in terms of their own price. By anticipating that, then the platform can actually leverage the information they have by benefiting from this anticipation by sharing the information. So therefore, there is incentive for the platform to share information and extract the information rent back from the supplier. So this is what they found. But then, of course, if the sequence is reversed, then the platform has no information, no incentive to share information, because if if the platform is a follower, they cannot benefit from what the supply will do, because it's too late, because they will always want to make the decision later. So in that case, they cannot really extract the information rent. So this is what they show. So this is consistent with most of the sequential move game constructs. Now, then this work is interesting. When I look in the work, it's actually linked to my recent work. I hope that will get accepted eventually. So this one is slightly different. We look at the simultaneous move. Now, when you simultaneous move, then the situation is less clear, because we know sequential move, the leader has advantage over the follower. So this is what I work on with my colleagues in Germany. This Angie Lee and Stefan Mina, they're from Technical University of Munich. So the situation goes as follows. Just like what Suresh model, with the seller or the supply and the platform. Now, but here we only focus on the seller has two channels. One of them they sell direct using their own online channel. The other one they sell through the platform. All right, they sell through. So the platform does not sell their own product. So basically, a seller has two channels. One is sell through the channel, and the other one sell direct. So this would be like his model 2+3 model. Now, in this case, it's a simultaneous move model, and also the key difference is that both the seller and the platform, they have their own private information, XS and XP, about the market. Now, the supply has information and the platform has information about the market M. But then the information is noisy. So that means that you look at the seller information XS, they know something about the market information plus the noise. So in that case, they observe a noisy signal about the market. Same thing, the platform, they also observe the market signal because they also get information from other sellers as well. So therefore, the platform has information about the market through many sellers. But the sellers himself is also market information because through the direct channel. Then the question is that they have private information. Should they share information or should they exchange information? That means you tell me XS, I tell you XP. Should they exchange information bi-directional? Now, here, why do they want to do that? For the platform, because there is earning commission. By sharing the information with the seller, in that case, they may actually can extract more by changing the commission rate, because it's, hey, I give you more information, you can sell more, we can set a better price, but I can set a better commission as well. So that in the case is the dynamics is more intricate in that sense. And the seller also may not have information shared with the platform because there's a fear that you may change the commission rate as well. So that is the question we try to investigate. All right. So what do we do is in terms of information exchange, that means by direction sharing, we find that there's some common practice in that. So basically, the Alibaba in China and also Casio, they actually conduct the mutual exchange information because Casio, they also sell direct as well. Then they exchange informations, and then they based on the case studies, they said that both parties were beneficial. So we want to investigate under what condition is a win-win situation. So this is what we learn. So there are two settings. The first setting is that the platform commission is exogenous, is fixed. If it's given, then in the case, the platform usually does not have information because I cannot change the commission. So why would I share the information with the seller? But in this case, they can charge the information. So we find that is it basically that the platform can actually charge information. In that case, they can also extract additional revenue. So this could be some kind of a consultation services to help the sellers to sell more. They say, hey, I know something about the market. I can help you to actually, you can select a better price. The second situation, the model on the right. So basically, the platform rates can be changed. It can be endogenously determined by the platform. Then the case, there is incentive for the mutual exchange. That is what we try to investigate. So well, I'm going to share you the result, then I wrap it up. So this is what we learned. So the first one, when the commission rate is fixed, then of course the seller's information is useless to the platform because the platform cannot react to it. So in the case, it's only one way. The platform will share the information with seller. Then in the case, the platform will share the information, but by charging the information. That's what we learn. The second case is when the commission rate is endogenous determined by the platform, then it depends. So basically, we found that it's depending on who has a more accurate information about the market. All right. So instead, by directional information change, it can actually reduce the commission rate. That is a surprising result, especially when the seller's information is more accurate. All right. When the seller's information is more accurate, you by exchanging it, by anticipating it, then the platform would need to lower the commission rate to entice the seller to exchange information. And also we find that it's actually by sharing the information both ways, it can be win-win situation in a simultaneous move situation. And then when the platforms channels the information is more accurate. So here we also incorporate in terms of whose information is more accurate, whether that's beneficial for them to exchange information in a simultaneous move situation. So this is what we learn. So to a certain extent, it's dovetail the early work that Suresh has and his team work on, and I hope that the referees will give us a easier time after the third revisions. All right. So in closing, I want to make sure that I keep my 20 minutes commitment. So basically that it is amazing, Suresh, you really have a progressive thinking. You started from the Vidal method, really leverage your unique skill in optimal control. You really extract a lot of benefit, and also we benefit from your insight in this line of work. And also that I also appreciate you because given your starting point is more on the technical side, but you never shy from doing apply work in flexibility, scheduling, inventory control, you name it, you can do it. And also interacting you is very enlightening because you're always curious about things. So we exchange many ideas. You always show us your traveling on the LinkedIn. So we follow your journey to different places. More importantly, you always meet people with big heart and big smiles. Congratulations, Suresh, and happy birthday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the audience?
I wish I had a power like you're a great explainer. Chris,
Oh, thank you. I learned from you.
I said you're a great explainer. I wish, it's wonderful. You bring memories back of what I did with the Vidal-Wolfe model. But when I find out that they wrote this paper, it was published in Operations Research, but nobody has thought how to optimize. All they knew is if there's one point in time between 0 and t, if I can spend $10 at that one point in time, how to optimize that part. But they did not know how to solve a continuous time optimization problem. So I thought, I do it. And so I did something, and it was part of that was not complete. So I went to Stanford to work with George Dancing, and I took a course in another control theory named Professor John Blackwell. He was a control theory guy who worked on games of homicidal chauffeur. You know, there's a car and there's a guy, and there's a circle in which the car is chasing the chauffeur the chauffeur is chasing the person to kill. But the car has not a good radius able to turn. This guy has not a good ability to turn. He has a low speed, the car has high speed, but the car doesn't have a good ability to turn. He has a high ability to turn. And this is a very famous game in control theory about how to, one is trying to maximize his life, one is trying to minimize his life. It's a zero-sum game. So he taught me something that came from Neely, who was another big guy, was the editor of Joda for a long time. And so he had developed something that uses Green's theorem to solve this problem. And I learned that, and I finished the paper that within a day, and I sent it to operations research. That was a complete paper that happened actually while I was Stanford, which was your alma mater too as well. Same place in Encina Hall. I suppose you were there. So maybe the thing moved there, but the OR department was in Encina Hall at the time when I was a Jones postdoc. Anyway, thank you very much for bringing those memories back. And
Well, thank you, Suresh. You're always so inspirational. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.